until now?
To be honest, I don't think they have played it very well. Look, it's going to come down to execution of our skills, right? So if we execute a plan well, it's potentially going to work. But unfortunately, at times with our plans in place, we didn't execute as well as we have liked. I still believe and feel that the plans are good, but especially when it's a shorter format, you have to execute well. But no fault to them. I mean, we tried. Unfortunately, a few missed opportunities throughout the innings, but we'll definitely come back stronger. I firmly believe that. Well, look, at the end of the day, that's you guys are going to have that opinion. I honestly don't believe that we are dropping our heads. Our body language is bad. I honestly believe we were pretty good in the field today, bar the missed opportunities. Look, naturally, when you put down opportunities, there's going to be some sort of moping around, and you've got to try and get yourself back up as quickly as possible, especially in a big game like that, a big player as Virat Kohli. So you're gonna feel a bit down, and I think it's only natural as a human being to feel that way. But in professional sport, you got to find a way to get back up. And I thought, within a few balls, we certainly did, and we stuck to our plans in terms of what we're trying to do. Again, it comes down to execution. So that's something we can improve on. Yeah, look, I thought it was a pretty decent total to chase down, especially at this venue. As you mentioned, a pretty good pitch. If you look back to where they were at 8 overs, they were 100 after 8 overs. So at that point in time, you're probably looking at 220, 240. And I thought the way the guys came back was exceptional. So I was pretty happy with chasing 204. Again, unfortunately, from a batting perspective, that's been our Achilles heel throughout this Indian tour from a short format point of view. So again, as senior players, we have to take responsibility for that. As senior batters, we have to take responsibility for that. And we got to look at ourselves in the mirror and see how can we improve and how can we be better. So hopefully we can improve that come Wednesday.
Yes, Stuart?
To some extent, yes. Look, the plan was always to try and take wickets. I was pretty happy if they had 60 or 70 after 6 overs, but at least we had 3 wickets down. I felt if we were in that kind of position, I felt we were in a strong position, especially at a venue like this. And I thought they were 70 for 2 after 6, so I wasn't too unhappy. Again, the mindset and the plan was an aggressive one and trying to take wickets. And with that, there are going to be times where you're going to leak a few boundaries. And, that was the kind of mindset and chat that we had out in the middle. Again, that they executed very well in their plans. Our plans might have been slightly different according to their batters. Again, where we've come short is probably assessing conditions as quickly as possible. Again, that was our plan. If you look back to how Rohit got out, that was a plan that we put together, and it came off. Against other batters, yes, we leaked a bit. But again, India, they're very simple in their game plans and they execute very well. We're trying to find something where that we can adopt and understand what's going to work for us on these kind of conditions against their players. And unfortunately, at times we haven't executed. But again, I think we're moving in the right direction in terms of execution. So were you referring to experience?
The two inexperienced opening bowlers.
Oh, inexperienced. Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, yes, they're inexperienced in terms of international cricket, but they're very much experienced in terms of domestic cricket and what they've done at that level. I think, in terms of their standard for themselves, they've got a high standard in terms of their execution plan, and by no means am I blaming that, right? At the end of the day, as I mentioned earlier, the batting has probably been our main Achilles heel throughout the series, and that's something that we have to take on board. Especially in a format like this, you're going to leak runs at times. So even though we went for 200, as you mentioned, the way we started and the way we came back, there's lots of positives to take out of it.
Could you have changed that?
In hindsight, there's always that. If it had worked, we wouldn't be having this conversation now. So, but yes, there's something to look into, for Wednesday, definitely. Yeah, they gave us a chance in the game, and especially in this format, we know that wickets in hand, you give yourself the best chance to win the game. Unfortunately, in an ideal world, we'd like to have extended that partnership, but again, you look at the situation of the game, we probably needed about 14, 15 runs and over. So they needed to up the ante, and they needed to take the game forward. Unfortunately, again, never came off, but I was very proud of the way they went about it. I mean, to see Reza playing a handful of games and the way he performed under pressure was exceptional. And you know, those are the kind of positives that you want to take out of it, and us as players and teammates want to feed off that kind of positiveness. So hopefully we can take that into the next game.
But too short?
There's something to look into, but I think if you look at his first 3 wickets, it was slow balls. And unfortunately, we, at that point in time, including myself, were trying to be aggressive and trying to look for the boundary. Came down to the execution of the shot. But he's a skillful bowler and has been around in this kind of format for a long period of time, and you know, he's been successful in this format. And the type of bowler he is, he's best suited when he's pitching the ball up and using his bag of tricks in terms of this format. Just to be free and to go and play your game and you know, stick to your game plans. At the end of the day, you know, everybody has a particular game plan, and it's either going to come off or it's not. You're going to go through periods in your career where you're going to go through slumps, be it a senior player or a new player. And unfortunately, throughout the series, quite a few senior players have come up short, and including myself, it's been a dismal ODI series, and obviously today as well. So again, you've got to find a way to get back up on your feet and try and fire again on Wednesday. That's all you can do at this level. You know, you don't have a lot of place to hide. You got to front up to it and understand that you got to step up and try and put in those big performances that you know you can do.
Can you give us some insight into that game plan?
Whose game plan?
On the senior players and how you guys are going to...
Everybody's different. You know, according to the bowler that you're going to be facing, everybody has strengths and weaknesses. Everybody's going to back their strengths, and there are going to be times where your strength is going to get you out, especially in this format. And as I mentioned, you know, there are going to be times when you can go through slumps, and a lot of us are finding ourselves in that, unfortunately, at the same time. And you know, the way India have played and they've dominated us throughout the series, a lot of their players have stepped up, senior players have stepped up and put in those big performances. It's pretty simple. There was a short boundary to the one side, so you got to give yourself an option to try and use that short boundary from both sides. So if you have a right-hander, obviously from the one side, and the left-hander from the other side.
Yeah, you shouldn't be taking it somehow.
Look, the standard that we set for ourselves, we no doubt feel that we need to take those opportunities. But the game of cricket is that when you're down and out, there are certain things that don't necessarily go your way, and those kind of things tend to pop up. It's not a lack of practice, it's not a lack of determination and motivation to try and do well. Unfortunately, it just hasn't gone our way, and I can guarantee you the guys will be out there tomorrow and the next day trying to correct it. But at the end of the day, when you're under pressure, you've got to make sure that you execute, whether it's with bat, ball, or in the field. And we pride ourselves on that, and we definitely want to get that right next time around.